Hello, David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. This video today, we're going to be talking about the marketing of No Time to Die, specifically as a James Bond movie in the world of the James Bond franchise. We've had a few videos like this before, but we're going to really get into the specifics of merchandising because No Time to Die, obviously with the delays, many of the offerings that we've seen for the movie have not been delayed. They've been slowly eked out over time. We've had clothing launches, right? We've had a couple things from the 007.com store. We've had food. Yes, we've actually had food. We've had drink and libation. Yeah, we had a DHL. I mean, we had some incredible commercials and even an interactive, tease for a video game. But a question is starting to come up on the lips, on the minds of a lot of us Bond fans in the community is, who exactly are they marketing to? I mean, early on, I think Universal, MGM, Danjaq certainly, said, this is not going to be your father's James Bond. All right, it's a bit of a challenge. And I don't know how much I like that statement because I am the father. I was brought up on James Bond, so this is my world as a 52-year-old. But okay, I'm open-minded to some of these things. But for example, I just got this box in, and it is from Bella Freud. Okay, and I have not opened it, but basically this is a piece that is part of the merchandising that they are unveiling to us over time. And very cool. It's got some kind of neat sticker. Now, I believe it is the great-granddaughter of Sigmund Freud, but she is a fashion icon and a stylist and a designer in her own right. And I believe I know what this is. By the way, this is an unboxing review too. Yes, you didn't know that. This is like a bonus, if you will. But check this out. So we've got some nice packaging, and it looks like there is a very cool, very nice paper in there, but you're not here for the paper. And by the way, there's a method to my madness. Stick with me. I know you desperately want to go to a Harrington review, but trust me when I say this, this is all related to each other. So again, very nice. Oh, okay, this is cool. So the box itself is kind of glittery gold, and it says, "For your eyes only." 007, nice branding. So clearly this went through a lot of different trials and tribulations and filters, because if you get a brand connected to Eon and James Bond, it isn't like you phone it in. It's got to go through a lot of filters and a lot of approvals, a lot of no's and a lot of tweaks. And this is, by the way, the odd job version of whatever this is in here. So let's take a look at what's in the box. And inside the box, put the box down, is a mug. And it says Bella Freud, that's the name of the designer, 007, and it says Odd Job on it, okay? And by the way, listen, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the face. They were very nice enough to send this. It's a very nice kind of a mid-size mug. It is gold on there, and I don't know all the stats on this, but I know it's not an inexpensive mug, okay? It's, they have different versions, obviously, of this mug, and they allowed me to pick out one of the mugs. And I chose Odd Job because I just thought it was kind of fun, Odd Job. Doesn't need to even be Bond. I'm just doing odd jobs. But the reason I'm showing a quick review in here is there was a lot of questions when these mugs came out. For example, why? We can almost understand a mug that has the poster on it or a design on it that we've seen before that's nostalgic. But showing just kind of gold lettering Odd Job, is it a bridge too far? Is it a marketing offering? Is it an item? Is it a piece of merchandise too far? And it's a question worth asking, and one that I think is worth exploring, because we had a few things come out that made the let's call it the everyday Bond fan, scratch their head a little bit. Well, we had the Octopussy robe, the first one, come out. And there was a lot of questions because there were only seven offered. They weren't inexpensive. I think they were like $1,200 or something like that. Beautiful. I own one and was able to get one quickly before they sold out in like an hour. But even that, you know, people were like, well, it's $1,200 robe and you only had seven. So what was it all for? And that's why we have to step back. Marketing. Let's talk about marketing for a second. Marketing and merchandising do go hand in hand together. They're intertwined. They have what's called connective tissue because they do two things. First of all, obviously, they promote a brand. So there could be a new brand like Bella Freud that wants to get their name out there more and wants to create a splash, and, you know, coattailing themselves, obviously, to the Bond franchise is not a terrible way to do it. I mean, look how successful, you know, Oliver Brown and N. Peel and even Billy Reed, who were established brands before, have suddenly become seismic because they've been connected to James Bond. It really does raise all ships when you're associated with the Bond franchise. So that makes sense. It's a megaphone to the brand. The other thing is to sell merchandise. So selling 7 Octopussy robes is not exactly going to create a groundswell of revenue for any company, right? Not Danjaq, not Eon, not anybody, including the company that brought that robe out. All right. The other thing that it does is it can promote a movie. So you can have something like the Funko Pops, which not only are collectibles, not only is there their own community of Funko people, you know, collectors, if you will, that could care less about Bond, but they collect Funko Pops. But they can also help to promote the movie and put butts in seats, if we have seats to put butts in. It's a different subject altogether, a different topic too. So we've got to go back and again, ask ourselves a very simple question. From the offerings that we've seen, from martini popcorn to cashmere sweaters to mugs to all these different things, who are they marketing to? Well, it seems like, and again, this is not going to be the most popular discussion with everybody, but it seems like they're going to certainly a more either affluent Bond fan or collector. I mean, the Omega watch, for example, is $10,000. That's not for everyone. But what happens is one person gets that $10,000 watch and they talk about it. They talk about it on social media. They show it to friends. It is a megaphone. It's that whole megaphone property from a marketing standpoint that even if you don't buy that watch, you hear about it. It connects you to the movie and it gets you what's called intrigued. So there's two different types of marketing, generally speaking. There's the type of marketing called emulation marketing, which is basically, I'll give you an example of what this is. You see somebody that has a car or a watch or a mug, yes, even a mug, and then you go, oh, you know what? I like that person's lifestyle. I kind of connect to it. It's a bit of a template of mine. I emulate that. I'm going to get that mug. And then there's the other one that is just that sheer need, filling the gap, if you will. It could be a collector's gap. It could be a gap because you want that thing. It's a necessity. It's usually a want, isn't it? But those are the two aspects of marketing. It doesn't need to be complicated. Marketing is not a 400-page manifesto of understanding the psychology of humans and the psychology of want. So let's bring that back to Bond for a second. With No Time to Die, there clearly had to be a decision somewhere saying, we're not going to do action figures. We're not going to do play sets. When it comes to cars, we're going to have them very limited to just a couple Corgis because Corgi is that traditional brand. So it's tradition tied to luxury, tied to deluxe, tied to a very limited edition of certain things. Even the props coming out with Factory Entertainment. The Golden Gun sold out within weeks or something like that, and it was gone. Now, could they have made 500,000 of them to meet the supply? Absolutely. Did they want to? Probably. But from a marketing standpoint, they were very shrewd about it and kept it limited. This is a technique. And the technique is done by Rolex, it's done by Ferrari, it's done by Aston Martin, and it is a limitation. It's literally creating a limitation of either finances or keeping things so limited that that want becomes a crescendo. There really is a psychology around it. Now, let's get back to our question. When these came out, and I'm not belittling this brand at all. Kudos to you for being a part of the Bond world. And the mug is very cool, it's fun. But it's not going to be for everybody because it's too many degrees of separation from Bond. Bond, at least to me, is not necessarily high fashion, it's high style. There is a Bond style, and it's actually a very traditional, very crisp style. When you start to get to, let's call it out there, then it becomes fashion oriented. So look at the Connolly jacket right over here, literally right over here. The Connolly jacket, people are saying it's too much of a fashion piece. It looks like something fashionable, and it is. It's from a fashion brand called Connolly. But it also has a traditional sense in some of the old world items, the sartorial old world items that they would wear in Italy. So it's a familiar mix. But here's the reality of things. This is very subjective. One person's odd job cup that isn't for them is another person's treasure. Somebody got these and said, this is the best offering that they've had. And that's the wonderful thing about marketing. It is incredibly subjective. It's very personal to the individual. So I'm going to say something, and this is an opinion piece, so stay with me for a moment. I would say that many of the things that they've come out with around No Time to Die, I've been lukewarm about, and I've given some very honest and authentic reviews, and I'll keep doing that. Most of the things I've been very excited about. I do like the tchotchke stuff, and I do like some of the more interesting fashion stuff, and I do like those different aspects. The mug is, perhaps something I wouldn't normally gravitate to, because I think it's that fashion aspect being lauded, being put up on a pedestal, which I typically don't go for. But I feel like there's been a huge missed opportunity. Now, we thought that video games were a missed opportunity, and then we saw this. We saw that there is a video game coming, so thank you. Thank you, because I think that's going to be a huge splash and a huge want, and people are going to love that. But where are the toys? Where are the action figures? Where are the play sets? Where are the accessory sets? I feel like James Bond could be like Star Wars, where, kids of all ages, yes, even 52, are creating their own adventures and collectibles. And, even if you create, forget about 3 3/4 like Star Wars, even if you create, 6-inch or 8-inch or some more of the, like the sideshow type stuff, those are the types of things. Now, obviously, we've had a couple of, limited edition with Big Chief, which have been great. But again, a lot of those are out of people's price ranges, right? So something that is accessible, something that everybody can gravitate to, I think that's going to be the winning bet. And I dare say, I don't think we're going to see it around No Time to Die, because they've made a choice. And the choice is luxury. The choice is limited. The choice is just staying out of the reach of some people and creating that megaphone of emulation marketing. Like I said, it's a technique, and it seems like it's being done. And I just wanted to explore this with you in kind of a quick touch base. By the way, I could be wildly off, but this is my vocation. This is, what I do for a living is observing these things in the pharmaceutical space, not in the luxury space. But there are some tenets, there are some tropes that are no different, no matter what vertical you're looking at. So I wanted to share that with you. Anyway, thank you for your time. This has been, for me, an interesting conversation, and yet I've been having it with myself. So what's happening in pandemic, David? But thank you for staying with me on this. This has been David Zaritsky for The Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.